I'm Patrick Dwyer, and I am an autistic graduate student at UC Davis. I do some autism research here myself. I also facilitate a peer support group for autistic students. And right now, I am outside the Student Disability Center at UC Davis. Now, all of colleges should have a campus disability office. This is principally responsible for coordinating academic accommodations for disability, assistive technology, exam accommodations, extra time on tests, note-taking, all these sorts of things. It is very much on us to initiate contact with the Student Disability Center if that is indeed the path that we think is right for us. And on that question of self-determination, we're about to go in and meet Dr. Joe Spector, who is very much a believer in the importance of the topic of self-determination. If we're imagining that we're a student who is thinking about college and they're thinking they might want to register with the Student Disability Center, how do they go about doing that?
Well, as you know, I'm a big believer in self-determination, which involves starting on early and navigating through life, supporting some of your own efforts. So I believe a lot of it starts in high school, and at that point, the students are developing skills in advocacy, skills in requesting accommodations, and developing good patterns for school. I strongly recommend that the students take the lead in that process. So part of the transition to college involves high school time, because at that point, not only are you working through the high school process, but hopefully you're developing the kinds of documentation that will help you succeed in accessing services like at the Student Disability Center at the post-secondary level.
Right.
So one of the first things I recommend is that the students have up-to-date documentation or evaluations or reports, so that if they choose to come to a Student Disability Center, they have the documentation part ready to go.
And if somebody is not sure if their documentation is appropriate, can they just approach the Student Disability Center and ask?
I recommend that. On this particular campus, we might call that an inquiry meeting. An inquiry meeting can occur during high school. In fact, I strongly encourage that. They're really pleasant meetings that gives the student a chance to speak for themselves and to get to know what a disability office is like. But it can also occur the summer before school starts, or even during the course of school.
What happens once people are registered and they're looking to access accommodations? Can you say anything briefly about that? Or?
Students need to interact with the instructors about where the accommodations will be provided, what time the test will occur, if there's extra time, how to manage that. Many campuses such as ours don't have a large developed test center, so the instructor has to work out where the test will occur. So that connection between the instructor and the student is especially important, because for each test there may be a different time and a different location.
Right. And I'll just take a quick moment to mention that the Stairway to STEM website does have a lot of resources being developed about how to communicate with instructors. So those definitely would be a thing to check out. And then one last question. Because I know a lot of students are more reluctant to seek out formal accommodations for various different reasons, and I'm wondering if you have any thoughts to people who, that maybe they are not wanting to disclose their disability, or they don't feel they need accommodations, or feel guilty about the idea of accommodations.
One thing I've learned in several decades that I've been working with students with the diagnosis of autism is to respect some of their own beliefs and some of their own perceptions. There will be those students who generally don't believe that they need academic accommodations, and in fact, some of them probably don't. So I've learned to respect that choice of when it's time to get the help, when it's not time to get the help. However, reluctance about coming here shouldn't involve a sense of shame or stigma or embarrassment. At the point that that's going on, I think it helps to reach out to your friends, your parents, people like you, to help coach them towards coming to a disability center, at least beginning the discussion. And for the most part, the disability centers are very user-friendly.
thank you for watching this video. I hope that it provides useful and helpful information. And please do comment if you have any thoughts, reflections, if you have your own experiences that are relevant, any feedback, whatever it is, we do want to hear it. So please do add those comments.